Hi, I'm Andy King. I'm here with my brother Steve, and we're going to do a little bit of instruction on wing foiling, the basics. We're at Sibley Back Lake. It's a northwest wind, so side shore from the right, so perfect wind direction. The wind's about a force 3 at the minute, with gusts up to force 4 perhaps. So we've had a quick wing session already. We were powered on 5s in the gusts, but we're going to go for basically a beginner session. My cousin's going to be using a 5 metre wing and a 120 litre wing stroke sup foil board, and we'll see how we get on. Your board, the wind's coming from behind us, so the board's at right angles to the wind. You're going to climb on with your knees, and then you're going to hold on the flagging handle and use that for support when it's quite rocky. So you can push down both hands on it, get your knees nice along the centre line of the board, and then you're going to change to your left hand on the flagging handle, because you let your back hand. Then you're going to reach your front hand underneath and grab the closest handle, pull it up over your head, and then put your back hand on that strap. And then you're going to use the lift from the wing to give you more stability. And then you're going to get up on your front knee first. That's it, up to your front foot. And then you're going to push up and get your back foot up now, using the wing to give you a lift to help you get up. And you feel the lift from the wing? Yep. So if you keep the wing right above your head, it's giving you lift and not so much forward speed. So then you can sort of pull in on your backhand and bring the wing lower down a bit more like a windsurfing sail, and you'll feel how you engage in the power. And as you're trying to get the power through the wing, you then need to sort of just push that through your feet like you would on a windsurfer, and that starts to move your board across the wind. And then the more you can pump on that wing, and you do a little bit of a rotational pump rather than an in and an out, you start to rotate it up, down and back towards yourself. So I'll show you that in a minute in the techniques, but that's basically the getting up part of it. Okay. And if you get in any trouble, just let go of the backhand, and then you see how that loses all the power, and then you can go back to that flagging handle, and then you can just kneel down. So if you ever need to get off the board, that's the safest way. Always come to that safe position, secure position, and then down onto your knees, and then get off on this side. So you're going to come up to it from the water, and you've got to remember at the bottom, at the back end here, there's a foil that pokes out. It's quite wide, it's almost a metre wide. So it's going to be poking out just about here. So just be careful not to kick your feet too close to the board. Then you're going to get yourself on it, try and sort of stay right on the centre line, right in the middle of the board, and then you're going to put your left hand onto that handle. So swap your hands over, the back hand on, turn a little bit towards the wing a bit more, slightly with your body. That's it. Now right hand's going to go across, get the first handle, pull it above your head, get some lift, then up onto your front foot first. Try and get that foot back a little bit on. Imagine that's the board. It's going to come back a bit, and it will be crossing over the board. That's it. So just turn your right foot slightly to the left, so it's facing that way, yeah, downwind. And then go to stand up now. That's it. And then the more you can get both feet right over the centre line, the better. And that's about perfect just there. And then you're just going to be sort of trying to pump the wing slightly. It's going to be a bit unstable at times if it's not very windy. And if you need to, just let the backhand go, and then grab hold of it again, and then just let it go again, grab hold. So if you get in any sort of trouble, if you're getting pulled over, just let go of that backhand. That just takes all the power off, and it makes the wing sort of go neutral and a lot easier to handle. So the only thing you'll find is the wingtips might want to try and hit in the water when you're going along, and if that happens, again, just let go of the backhand, pull the wing up a bit, and then you can grab hold. You can pull it around, you can really overpower it when it's not very windy.
And then what's that? That's if it's really windy.
Yeah, it's just a sort of an extra strap, an extra handle in case you want to have a bit more power. Okay, now if you're going out there, you want to turn around. So again, you can just go back down to your knees as the safest way. So, and then you can either climb off and change it, or there are some, yeah, it's probably the easiest way for your first time.
And then I need to flip this over, don't I?
No, you can keep it that way if you want, yeah. But the board would have changed around and you'll do the opposite, coming back in. Well, good. So I'll show you on the water now. So Steve's explaining that if you bring the inflatable tube, front tube of the wing, offers you a lot of support. So if you bring that in close early on, if you become unbalanced on your board, and especially appropriate when your board's a lower volume, you can use that as a flotation device, push off it. He had the wing was the wrong way up, and there's a point where you have to flip that over, and you just grab it and turn the tip into the wind, and then it will rotate, just one hand over the other to get it back up. Obviously then he stood up. This is quite a big volume board for him, but it's probably standard for learners. They're saying about 30 litres above your body weight. That's 122. Mark here, who's about to go out on it, is 85 kilos or thereabouts, between 85 and 90 kilos. So 122 is at plus 30. The foil itself gives you a lot of stability. So if you were to balance that without a big foil in it, i.e. just a fin for sup, for example, it would be more unstable than it is for winging. So winging, you've got the advantage of having the wing, once you get wind, gives you stability. And even when you're not got the wing in the sky, if you bring the wing in close, the air in the front tube can give you stability, so you can sort of lean a little bit to windward, or downwind, and that will give you a bit of support. So the most vulnerable position is when you just go to from knees to feet, and that's why it's important to have the wing high above you, and to make sure there's a bit of wind in the wing to give you more stability. But don't lean off it. This is a case of staying on the centre line of the board as if you were supping, and then instead of having a sup paddle to move you forward, you can have the power in the wing, and you only lean off the wing when you get significant power in it. So a good gust is coming, and then you can lean off a little bit more just to kind of compensate for the extra power you've got in your wing. So now Mark was stood, he swum up to the board, he's been mindful of not striking his feet on the foil, which can protrude a little bit underneath the board. So that's one thing you should always remember when you're new to wing foil boards, is the foil is underwater. Try not to get too close and kick. So as you approach it, just let your legs dangle behind and then kick on as you would trying to mount anything else on the water. And now he's on his knees and he's got a bit of power now, so he's moving across the water. This is a good time that he needs to stand up. So his front foot initially wasn't on the centre line, so now he's found the centre line, and it's just trying to find that pull. The wing is quite happy to sit above you, more like a kite, and then the pull, when you pull, will lift you up as opposed to pull you in any direction. So now he's in the position where he needs to rotate the wing over. It can be quite useful to do that before you get on the board if you're not familiar and comfortable with balancing. But we'll see how he gets on. So he needs to decide which tip he's going to take into the wind, either the right side, or now it would be easier to take the left tip into wind and rotate the wing over. If you keep the wind directly downwind and try and rotate it, it's going to fight that process. So if he does it in the water first, if you're not comfortable balancing on the board, it can save you falling off your board. So that's it. So now he's rotated the wing enough for it to flip over. He did it. He took the right tip, the front tip as it was, into the wind. And now it's over. This is a position it's much easier to start in. And I'm looking at the board. It looks like the nose of the board is still, it's gone a little bit downwind. So that's what you need to do. You need to just pull the board across the wind first before you get on it. And then there's some subtle steering that you do with your knees, because you want to keep the nose of the board across the wind. So I don't know if Steve's explained that to him, but you can put pressure, scissor in action, like you would do with any other board sport, to keep it across the wind. If you let the nose of the board run off the wind, then it's going to make it more difficult when you try and stand on it. So now he's got that action, scissor in action, he's controlling the board across the wind. He's looking for a little bit more wind in the wing to give him that support when he goes to stand up. So at the minute he's doing what we call taxiing, which is when you're moving across the lake without using actually being on the foil, but he's currently doing this on his knees. It's good to get used to the feel of the wing. Personally, I'd say stand up as soon as you can, because that's more beneficial into the point of where you're going to get foiling, because although you can do it on your knees, you can foil. If you've got enough wind, you can pump up. And if you've got a big enough foil, it will just take you when you're on your knees, or even on your sat down on the board. Probably not the best time to test that out. So he's looking to stand up, his front leg's up, and now he's looking to stand up on his back leg. It's just that moment of just making that decisive action of getting up, and then once you're stood up is where I would find your best balance point. So he's still one leg at the minute, and he's going to cover some distance. He is now on his own for getting back here, and that's the problem. If you do spend a lot of time on your knees, you've now covered half the lake, but you do have to get back. So just waiting, and we're up, both legs, and he's in.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.